the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Bud Selig, with us. And, Commissioner Selig, great to have you here in Pittsburgh. I know it's been a busy day for you.
It has been a really good day. I enjoy this. I talk to the Pirate front office and the media and everything else, and these are my best days, and I'm going from stadium to stadium, franchise to franchise, and this has been a very enjoyable day. And how can you not enjoy this?
It's spectacular.
I've seen it before, but every time I see it, the view is even better.
Well, thanks so much for being here. And on behalf of, let us add our words of congratulations to the job you've done riding this game of baseball and helping this game of baseball to the heights that it is now. I mean, it's in great shape under your stewardship.
Well, thank you, Steve. It's really been a pleasure. It's hard to believe it's going to be over 23 years.
Josh Beckett grounds out to Pedro Alvarez, and he does not. Pedro throws it away, and Beckett will take second base on the throwing error by Alvarez.
If we can show you a list that I think you're quite familiar with, and a stunning list it is. Congratulations on all those areas that have enjoyed the success.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and all the economic changes that have really led to better competitive balance, and I know how much it's helped Pittsburgh, and I'm delighted. This is it's a great franchise, and
D. Gordon completes the sacrifice bunt. Down to third goes Beckett.
And when you think the other morning, guys, I got up and I looked at the standings, and all three National League divisions were in a dead heat. I said to myself, boy, you're lucky, because nobody could have orchestrated this.
That's good stuff. That is really good stuff.
But that's what this was all about. And in the 90s were painful as we made a lot of changes, but they've worked. And you look around this ballpark, and I know that the Pittsburgh franchise went through some tough moments. Every franchise goes through tough moments. But look at it today. It's turned out okay.
Now, I'm sure you've heard all kind of questions. You've been interviewed and grilled by everybody on your farewell tour.
Right.
I was thinking, what would be your advice to your successor?
Have patience. Understand that baseball politics works in a little different way. The one thing I tell people, and I really mean this, that for anybody to be the commissioner, you have to have a deep, abiding passion for the sport. You have to understand what's in the best interest of the sport. It may be very difficult. I know I went through some tough time, but I knew that we were on the right track. And so it's patience, passion, and you got to get owners to work together. For a long time before I took over, owners were fighting with owners fighting with the union, owners fighting with the commissioner, or whoever it was at the time. And as a result, sport was in some trouble. And but my way of building consensus, guys, may take a little longer. But in the end, that's how you get things done.
Would labor peace be at the top of the list of things you're proudest of?
Absolutely. When my first year was 1970, and
right in Steve Blass'
there were good times for the Pirates.
Yeah, we had 7 work stoppages, and then 8th one when we lost the World Series. It was heartbreaking. But you remember, every 2 or 3 years there was a fight with the union.
Absolutely.
I mean, and the game suffered. Fans were mad at players, fans were mad at owners, fans were mad at everybody. And we really suffered. Nobody could have ever believed that we'd have 21 or 22 years of labor peace. So, yes, I'm very proud. And by the way, during that period, revenues, attendance, 10 greatest years last year, have grown because we have labor peace. So, yes, you bet it is, Steve.
3-2 pitch to Justin Turner's fouled off. And Commissioner, let me ask you this. One of the latest additions to baseball, the expanded replay, we saw one of the more efficient examples of it here earlier in the game. The call at first base that was overturned. Right. We have seen some calls the other way that have been a lot more tricky. What have been some of the the things you've been happy with about replay, and maybe some things that you think might have room for adjustment in the future?
That's great. I'll go back to this. Tony La Russa, when he was with us, really worked hard. That was really his baby. It's a good thing I don't own a club anymore, because the last couple of pitches I would have been hollering at the umpire.
My heart started going a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Clint is showing restraint here. Tony would say to me in April when we were going through this, we have no right to expect it to have been this good this fast. Now, does that mean it's perfect? No. But I'm really proud of it. The average time takes 1 minute and 57 seconds, and that isn't bad. We'll get it down. But, I was witness, so were you, Steve, to temper tantrums from, Earl Weaver or Billy Martin, and those took 10 and 15 minutes sometimes. My pal Sparky Anderson used to have a few of those too that took a long time. So and we're getting it right, and that's the important thing. So I feel good about where we are.
Yeah, because that was very dramatic. That was throwing a lot at a lot of different people.
Oh, there's no question. And I give Joe Torre and Tony La Russa and all the people in our baseball operations department, they worked hard. Jimmy Leland has played a great role and continues to. So no, I feel good about where we are.
Adrian Gonzalez at the plate, goes the other way down toward the left field corner, and that is going to be in the seats foul.
I'm sure you have remained a baseball fan for all these years. I'm sure that's been tested at times. If we threw the Brewers players out of the equation, could you give us 3 of your favorites of all time? Doesn't have to be just your time as commissioner.
Yeah, I'll give you, sure. Well, when I was a kid growing up, I was a Joe DiMaggio fan. Loved Joe DiMaggio. He was my great hero. I would have to put Henry Aaron in there, which is with the Milwaukee Braves.
That's right. Me too.
Well, and Henry and I have been friends now for 57 or 58 years, and I always felt that he didn't get. He broke Babe Ruth's record, did a lot of things, but he was a great, as you know, all-around player.
And what an ambassador for our game. He's been.
We're lucky to have an American icon like that and be an ambassador. He's been spectacular. And there have been a lot of players since then. I mean, obviously Stan Musial growing up, you can't do any better than that. And Derek Jeter today. Derek Jeter is he's not only a great player, he's a better person off the field. And in Pittsburgh, Roberto Clemente. I mean, we have been so fortunate that our great players have really been great human beings.
And Jeter, in this day and age with the scrutiny there are on players and the tests.
Exactly right.
Polanco's throw will be well off the mark, but Dodgers will get a run as Beckett scores. It's now a 2-1 ball game.
Could we ask about the plans of Bud Selig? Are you going to put your feet up a little bit?
Well, I won't do that. I've worked all my life, so I'm going to teach, Steve, at 2 or 3 universities, and I'm going to write a book. I've been doing this now since 1963, so I'll do that. I'm going to teach and do some other things, and I'll keep very, very busy.
And you go to a few ball games.
Oh, I'll go to a lot of ball games. You know what I tell people, especially after I'm having a bad day, about 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'll say to myself in the office, good, I can go home and watch 15 games now, and out I go.
Speaking of watching a game, I know you mentioned earlier today when you talked to some folks about the wild card game here. What were your thoughts?
It meant a lot to me, more than I think people would understand, because I know the struggles that they went through to get there. And I give the Pirate organization, I give this great city, this great franchise. I'm telling you, there was a guy sitting in Milwaukee watching it, and I had chills. And it meant a great deal to me, because it proved to me that all the changes in the system gave a club who knows what they're doing, and you gave a club who is smart and ability to do the thing, they can compete. To watch that crowd, the emotion in the ballpark, and even to this day, it's hard for me to articulate. It made me very, very proud and very, very happy.
And what a message that it sent to all over.
Wonderful message. Yeah. Great message, Steve. There's no question about it. It was just, when I think back to 3 or 4 years and people were still saying, oh, they can't do that, they can't do that. And look at that, they can do that in other sports, but not in baseball. We have the greatest competitive balance, and the greatest proof of that is right here with the Bucks, as I still call them.
Yep. that was certainly a nugget. That there are gems that come along in every.
You bet.
Every
and that
part
was
of
that
life.
real night. I'm not saying because I'm here tonight. It was a very emotional moment.
People still get chills when they see the video.
Oh my
even
goodness,
now.
it was incredible. It really was just.
And of course, it carried over through the winter with not only ticket sales, but people reminding themselves what a good baseball city Pittsburgh is. And
great baseball.
boy, they
town.
show their colors.
Great baseball town. In fact, we were sitting in a meeting about 6 o'clock, and I said to Bob Nutting and Frank Coonley, well, this is going to be okay. I looked up in the upper deck, having run a team for years. There were people filing in up in the upper deck and said, we're going to do all right tonight, aren't
That's
we?
right. There's our indicators.
Those are our indicators, yeah.
Wonderful. Where's your next stop on the tour?
Well, I'm going to Oakland. I have a Texas. I'm going down to the Rangers. I got New York. I have a bunch of things coming in. It's been hectic. It's really been hectic.
3-2 goes off of Worley, and Kemp will be safe. Things have not gone all that well for the Pirates here in
Tough
this
inning on defense.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Tough inning.
Bob Nutting, it's our understanding, he is on the committee to talk about your
Yes, he is.
successor and
Yes,
be
he
very
is.
much involved in that.
He is very much involved, doing a terrific job. Yeah, and Bill DeWitt of the Cardinals is the chairman. Bob is on it. Others, and they're doing a quiet, a very quiet, a very thoughtful job.
You brought up a couple names that have always been interesting guys with what they do. Jim Leland and Tony La Russa, their managerial careers have been not only successful, but they've never been dull. And they're guys that they have been great representatives to what they do.
Two of my favorite people. I didn't know Tony as well as Joe Torre. I've known since he's 15 years old. His brother Frank, of course, played for the Milwaukee club, and that's where I got to meet him. So Joe, I've known well. Tony, all I saw for years is that scowling, miserable human being in the Cardinal dugout. I've told him this a lot. But when he went to work for me for 2 years ago, well, he was great. I hated to see him go. I know he wanted to go with a club. I hated to see him go. He's been so terrific. And Jimmy Leland was on my special committee, and he's been just terrific, and he's doing very well now. So. And one thing about Jimmy and Tony, whatever's on their mind, you'll know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, there are no secrets.
No nonsense.
And about this time, usually when Jim is managing, you look out, my goodness, there's a guy that's 150 years old down in the dugout. We always kid him about it because he's such a good friend. So I saw him at a charity golf tournament yesterday, and he seems quite relaxed. And he says, I'm not putting any better, but he seems relaxed.
He's doing very, very well. And as they say, there are ones that actually talked me into instant replay. All four managers, Torre, Socha, Leland, and La Russa. And they turned out they've been right. And now they're watching it. We had some managers at first early in the year.
This one is looped into short left field. This is going to tie the ball game as Turner will come in to score. Throw to third offline. It's now a 2-2 ball game. As Andre Ethier scores Justin Turner. And it's back to square one for the Pirates.
Well, these are the way baseball games go. You hit a couple home runs, you get all excited. Now a little bit of reality. The ebb and flow of a 9-inning.
That's what makes it a great game. You never know what's going to happen. Drives you crazy, but that's a whole nother story.
Especially if you're out there in the middle.
Somebody asked me, a student in one of my classes, if I miss the day-to-day thing. I said I hated 8th and 9th innings. They drove me crazy. So no, I don't miss those.
Holding on to a lead late.
So Carl Crawford, the batter. Runners at second and third and 2 down. And he lifts this one into left field. Snyder on the run. He'll make the catch. That's going to do it. Commissioner Selig,
thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Appreciate the time.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy it.
It's a 2-2 ball game here at PNC Park.